Happy New Year to all FPL managers out there. Game week 19 is done. And you know what that means, FPL managers? Game week 20 is here. So we'll have a look at, in this video, we'll have a look at how game week 19 went for us as FPL managers, the ups and downs, and what we can take away from it heading into game week 20. So before we get into that, I would like you to kindly hit that subscribe button. Let's grow the channel together. So as I said, game week 19 is done. And so we'll get into it. We'll look at the fixtures. Let's see how the fixtures went by. So it started on 30th December. So we had Newcastle taking on Burnley. They beat them by 3-1. Chelsea playing a 2-2 draw with Bournemouth. They played a 2-2 draw against Bournemouth. And so for Chelsea players, they just had their managers, they are Chelsea fans, they just had their manager sacked, Enzo Maresca. So we wish him the best of luck. He did great. We wish him the best of luck in his new endeavors, and we hope for the best for Chelsea fans for the rest of the season. We hope they get a good manager for Chelsea. And you should know, as FPL managers, there's also it's going to be a very significant determinant when it comes to picking your players, because with the manager yet to be brought in, you should be very cautious when it comes to taking Chelsea players for your team, as you'd want the best. And once the manager comes in with the philosophy and everything, before you get to understand how things are going to look like. But we hope for the best, that the board can get the right person who will deliver the results for the team and also for FPL managers. So moving on, we have Everton. They beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0, solid performance. West Ham played a 2-2 draw against Brighton and Hove Albion. This time, Arsenal beat Aston Villa by 4-1. Good performance there. Manchester United playing a 1-1 draw against this Wolves team that everyone is easily beaten. Very interesting, Manchester United. So we move on to Thursday, that is 1st of January. So that is a new year. So, and interestingly, all games played on this day ended in a draw. That is very interesting. This game week, for instance, had so many draws. Very, very, very interesting one there. So for 1st January, we had Crystal Palace playing a 1-1 draw against Fulham. Then the rest of the matches ended in a goalless draw. So Liverpool playing a goalless draw with Leeds, Brentford playing a goalless draw with Tottenham Hotspur, and the last match we had City and Sunderland. They also played a goalless draw. Very interesting one there. Not so many returns for most managers, but at least it helped with those who are defenders from such fixtures. You would get a clean sheet, at least a consolation. But the rest of the matches, very, very interesting as well. So let's see how so the average being 40, highest being 112. Let's see what he did different. So he had bench boost, his bench producing about somewhere 15 points for him. So it looked like that for him. So he had about 15 points from the bench in addition to his team. So that was good for him. And I really like managers like this. He was bold, went out of his way, and captain Pickford, and he had 20 points. Pickford had 10 points for the game week. So with the captaincy, he had 20. I really appreciate managers like this who understand that there are some game weeks you just have to variate, you have to go wild, you have to be bold. And he did that, and his team was also very, very, very good. He had the likes of Ghana, he had Gameres, he had Zubimendi, he had Baldwin, he had Virgil, Poro. He had very good players in there, and he ended up with 1-1-2. So that was a very solid selection from him all around. Even on his bench, it was quite good, quite okay. That was a bold one from him, and kudos to him. So let's see worldwide how the top ranking managers are faring. So this manager maintains a spot at the top. He had 40 points, so just the average. So he had the likes of Tarkowski, Saka, Mateta. The rest very basic. So that's what I always say. Some game weeks you can't just catch a break. But rather unfortunately for him, it's he had a team that was very basic. If I say basic, then in the sense that they all didn't really give the returns. So some game weeks you need to bring in a little differentials and you'll be good to go. But I would say his differentials paid off Tarkowski. So if it was a differential, Mateta too in the mix there. So he was good to go. This manager ranked second worldwide. Let's see what he did different. So he played bench boost. His bench also giving him massive points there. So he had about 21 points, give or take, from the bench. He had the likes of Gabriel. So Gabriel scoring a goal, having the clean sheet, solid performance. He captained Haaland. So if he was bold enough and went for a Gabriel captaincy, went for a Pickford captaincy, went for even a defender as a captain, he would have been really smiling. But it's one of those things. Sometimes you just have to go out of your way, be bold, and you would be good to go. So this is how his team was looking. He had the likes of Gabriel, Lewis Potter, and quite some few others. So solid performance from him as well. This manager had 55 points. So 55 points from him. Let's see what he did differently. So he had Bruno Gomes, he had Virgil, he had Bowen. So it was just one of those things, but he still got the points because he had the likes of Bruno Gomes, he had Bowen. So I could say those were his differentials. Bowen being a differential Collins as well from Sunderland, and it paid off 55 points. So this manager with free hits had 33. So not too good performance there from him. So 33, he had to drop a bit. So you could see all in all, for the top ranking managers, you would realize that most of them didn't really shine so well, but the highest being 87, that was very good from him. Then you also had some 55 in the mix and then 60. So all in all, it looked very solid. Let's see what the manager is 60 points, how his team looked like. So he had his wild card active. He brought in Gabriel, very good. He had Saka, he had Casemiro, so that is what helped him. Pickford as well, so that was a plus. So all managers with Pickford this game week would be really proud of their selection. So looking at some things to consider heading into game week 20, you'd want to look at the fixture difficulty rate and look at how some teams would be faring when it comes to fixtures over the next 2 to 3 game weeks, and have a fair idea when it comes to your transfers. That way you know who you are really going out for and how things could look for you. So Arsenal have some tricky fixtures coming up, but not worry, there's an Arsenal side that are very determined to go all out and not drop points, because their target is the title. So you could easily consider an Arsenal player. You should be good to go. 2 Arsenal players wouldn't be bad. One will be okay. Aston Villa have some good fixtures coming up, so most def you should get some Aston Villa players. Bournemouth have some somewhat tricky fixtures coming up, so you want to be cautious. Brentford have some okay fixtures, so you could consider Brentford. You have Brighton and Hove Albion, some tricky fixtures. They've been struggling of late, so you want to be cautious when it comes to Brighton. You have Burnley, tricky fixtures. You want to be cautious. Chelsea, tricky fixtures. New manager coming in, things could go either way, so you want to be very diplomatic with your selection there. Crystal Palace, some tricky fixtures in there as well. Everton have some good fixtures coming up, so most dev get some Everton players or an Everton player. You should be good to go. Fulham have some tricky fixtures. Leeds United tricky fixtures. Liverpool have some okay fixtures in there. Apart from the Arsenal game, they should be good to go. So you could get a Liverpool player, you should be good to go. City have some okay fixtures coming up, somewhat okay fixtures coming up. They are also in the title race, very determined after dropping points. They want to keep up the momentum, not lose so many points else as now go far from them. So they would want to keep up the pace. Manchester United have some okay fixtures coming up, but there's a Manchester United team that just drop points against Wolves that have been dashing points. So you'd want to also consider that. But most if you could go for a Manchester United player, and you should be good to also go. Newcastle have some good fixtures coming up, and two of the fixtures are at home. So you expect them to try to pick up all 3 points in those games. So you could go for some Newcastle players, and I should see you going, having massive returns. Nottingham Forest have some somewhat good fixtures coming up, so you could look at that as differentials. Spurs have some somewhat good fixtures coming up, so a defender or attacker from there won't be bad. Sunderland have some okay fixtures coming up. Of course, you could have a defender from Sunderland as they've proven themselves this season that they came in to stay. So you would want to also look at that. West Ham have some good fixtures coming up, but there's a team that's still picking up points here and there. So most def, if you would go for an West Ham player, you could go for a ball win and you should be okay. Wolves have some somewhat good fixtures coming up, but they've hardly picked up any points over the past few game weeks. So be very diplomatic when it comes to Wolves. So that is how it's looking for the fixture difficulty rating. We'll look at the player stats in the preview video for game week 20, but that is how game week 19 was looking for most managers. It was very basic, and of course, you need to have your team set for game week 20. Just pick up the slack, and you should be okay. You have a long season ahead of you. Still have a long season ahead of us, and we hope for massive returns. Kindly subscribe, stay tuned. Let's build a channel together. We are out.